Well, guys, today I'm going to be reviewing the Pavo 20. This is a 85 millimeter 2-inch cinewhoo drone from BetaFPV. Now, as of right now, they're only selling this drone without any VTX, which kind of make it pretty cheap. It's 104, so you have to provide your own VTX. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing now. We're going to mount the VTX. We're going to set it up with Betaflight on a transmitter. And after that, we're going to take it for a little flight. And I'll give you my opinion of it. So let's just get started. So the drone does come with this cable. This cable is actually for the DJI O3 Air unit. You can use this cable if you're using a DJI O3 Air unit VTX. That'll be just a straight plug. But in my case, I'm going to be using a DJI Vista. So I'm going to have to take this cable off. Now you can reuse this cable if you want to, but depending on whatever VTX you're using, you just need to make sure that you reorder all the wire in order to match whatever VTX you're using. You can use this guy with the O3, of course. You can use it with HD0. Actually, the new Freestyle V2 should work pretty good on this guy. You can also use it with the Voxnail system. But we're using this guy, and I already have mine wire up. It is pretty much the same order than the O3, the Vista is. So I'm just gonna plug this guy in. But before I do that, there's a couple of things I need to do first. I'm gonna need to take my SMA connector out and swap it with those antenna. They give you two of them. That is primarily because this drone, I believe, was primarily built for the O3 air unit. So you got two. I'm just gonna swap those. That should be pretty quick. You're just gonna take this little guy out. That's out. Now I'm just gonna put this in place. Little pigtail antenna. And we're gonna put it back. There we go. We change the antenna. Now I'm gonna be using this little carbon fiber, and that is an adapter that gonna allow us to connect our VTX, in my case the Vista, to the rest of the drone. It does have 20 by 20 mounts, and you can see that is actually a perfect fit. That's how it's going to go. And by the way, guys, everything I'm showing you, it's included in the package. But before I do that, we got those small little gummies, and those need to go in this hole. I don't know if you can see it. We got one here, you got one here, another one here in the bottom, and another one here. There's going to be acting like little pacer, and I'm going to put them on off camera just to make the video a little shorter. Gummies are on. So what we're going to do next, make sure when you put the gummies on, you got one side that is taller or longer than the other. The taller side go on top and the short side go on the bottom. So what we're going to be doing next is mount a little adapter on the VTX. Now to do that, we're going to be using the longest screws on the package. And by the way, all the screws are 1.5x. We got the screw in, and we got a little knot on the other side. That's one. We're going to redo the process for all the other holes. This is what the end product look like. Make sure not to get your nuts too tight. They are made out of nylon, so you may strip them pretty easily. So now we need to add our VTX to this little piece. I call it the cage. It is a little flexible. So I'm gonna see how to put it on. Actually, one thing we can do right now is Let me put this down. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna thread my antenna, put the little hole, or little gap. And now, so you can see that I don't know if I edit in the camera. So that's how it's gonna be sitting in the cage. Little antenna stick in the back. And what I can do, I think at this point, I can either go ahead and put my camera in place, or I can do that later. I just want to make sure that my camera cable won't get under anything. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it on. Let me get it to stick on top. That should do it. Okay. And this little thing is flexible. So they have made it to where you can take the DJI camera, the original DJI camera, avatar. So pretty much any camera should be able to go in this little gap. And they do provide you with screws for your camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add it now. Yeah, so next what we're gonna do now is just mount the VTX and camera and the cage to the rest of the drone. Get a little gap here, and that's where I'm gonna get my VTX to go. And of course it is a little too long, so make sure to size it accordingly. I would say it'd be easier to actually connect it before you do anything. And those are press-on props, so you can just pull them out. There is no screw for those props. There we go. Yeah, guys, you want to make sure that your prop are not eating your connector. So we are pretty much almost done. So one thing left to do is we need to add those screws, and this is what we're going to secure the drone and the rest of the VTX cage camera. And try to align everything, and those gonna go where we added the gummies. So that go into the gummy, that go into the adapter and into our cage. Okay, that's one. We have to do the same process 3 more times. Et voila, guys, we are done. We have our VTX mounted on the rest of the drone. I mean, it is a very straightforward process. I would say if I didn't do it on camera, it may take me maybe 5 minutes to get it done. So it's a very simple process to do. Now that we have that on, we're going to go ahead and fire our drone for the first time. And of course, since this is the first time I'm going to fire this baby up, I'm going to be using a smoke stopper. Always use a smoke stopper, guys. And I'm using a 2S LaPo. And by the way, this is a 2 to 3S drone. So don't put in 4S or you're going to burn all the electronics. No smoke. First try. Oh, perfect. We got light. And we got light on a VTX. Well, folks, I almost forgot that this package does come with LED lights. So we're going to put them on. There's a little double side tape in the bottom. And what I like to do with double side tape before I put them on anything is just clean the area with some alcohol swab that get rid of any grease or dust, and that help a lot in the adhesion of the double side tape on whatever material you are taping them on. And this is a connector on the light side. This is a connector on the drone side. I thought I'd be able to squeeze it in here, but it's look like it is a little too big for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect it first. Okay, so I got it connected. And I have to squeeze it in there. And now we're going to go from one side. I got double side tape. Always tricky to get started. There we go. And I think, make sure it's right. And we're just gonna go all around a pop guard here. So we're definitely gonna have to cut them. Now I wanna show you how to cut your early strip without messing them up. This is where you need to cut. I don't know if you guys, between the LED strip, there's a little black line. That's exactly where you need to cut. I'm gonna do this off camera because I wanna make sure I'm not messing this part up. There you go, it is cut. So we're gonna plug it in. Oh, well, we got lights. Now what we're gonna be doing next is bind a receiver to a transmitter. Perfect. So let me tell you what's going on here. I'm not able to bind my receiver to my Express ELRS module, and this is, I think, the reason. The drone came with firmware version 2.5.2. This is an older firmware version. I'm currently running 3.3 on my Express ELRS module, so that's not gonna be able to connect. You can only connect threes with threes, two with two, so I'm gonna need to update my firmware. First, we're gonna go into Express ELRS configurator. Okay, so from here, we got 3.3 selected already. That's a release. That's what I'm running on my module. Category is gonna be BetaFPV 2.4, and our device is going to be BetaFPV 2.4 AIO. And from here, we're gonna go down. I'm gonna be using Wi-Fi because I kind of like Wi-Fi better than Betaflight pass-through. And we're gonna make sure we got a binding phrase on. I don't like lock on first connection, so I'm gonna turn that off, and I'm gonna turn these two to the second, so we don't have to wait that long. And I'm just gonna build it. Oh, I didn't pick the regulator, so we're gonna make sure we are using this one, RSM 2400. If you're in Europe, you gotta use this one. And let's go and build. All right, building process is done. And what I usually like to do is I want to take my firmware out and put it on my desktop. I like to put it where it's easy to find. So now that we got a firmware on the side, we need to make sure to open it. And this is what we actually after. So we're gonna put it out, delete the other one. Now, as far as firmware goes, we are all set. Power on my drone using the USB-C. Drone is power. You see that little blinking light. That green light is the receiver. I'm going to wait for approximately 1 minute for the receiver to go into Wi-Fi mode. All right, so we're getting a fast blinking on the receiver. That is the green light. That means we are into Wi-Fi mode. Now we're going to jump back into our computer and we're going to go into our Wi-Fi. And we're going to select Express ELRS. We're going to connect to it. This is the first time connecting to this Wi-Fi. It's going to ask you for a password, and the password is Express ELRS in lowercase. And we're gonna go here, we're gonna choose a file. And I told you that's why I like to put it in desktop. It's easy to find. Firmware bin, make sure that's today's date. Okay, I'm gonna wait for the firmware to upload. Now we are updating our receiver. Just click update. It flash. Now we got a green light. That means our firmware has been updated. Make sure before you unplug your drone that you got this slow blinking. That means the receiver has done updating. It usually take about maybe a couple seconds after the screen says done for the receiver to reset itself. So after I do an update, I usually let my receiver sit for at least 10 seconds. Telemetry recovered. All right, now that we are done banding our drone, we can go ahead and jump into Betaflight. And the one thing I have to say, guys, is that BetaFPV has pretty much taken care of everything, so you really don't have to change much in here. We are running Betaflight 4.4.1. No need to upgrade to the latest Betaflight. You're just gonna mess stuff up. Now, right now, just to show you, I'm on the UART page. I got my UART already set up. And I'm gonna show you the couple of things I did change. Configuration is fine. The beacon is already activated, and our arming is at 180, so you don't really need to change much here. You don't need to mess with your presets because the drone come already tuned, so don't mess with anything. Your receiver, it's already set up for crossfire, which is the protocol used by Express ELRS. The one thing I did change, telemetry was off. I turned it back to on, and I set up the endpoint for my sticks. And I also changed the mode. The mode was actually already set up. Let me turn this off. But for example, they had angle mode on. I don't fly angle mode, so I turned that off. So as you switch the switch to the way I like them to be. So that's something you may have to change based on your liking. And if you look at the OSD is already set up. The motor are set the right way, and then we are using Blue J, and we got bidirectional D-shot going. So don't mess with Betaflight. Everything is set and ready to go. Only thing we need to do now is go out and take this little baby for a spin. I forgot to go over this little adapter, and this is the USBC adapter that comes in a package. This flight controller does not have a USB-C, so in order to plug in your drone to your computer, you're gonna have to use this little adapter. And the way it goes is that you just plug it in the back of your drone and use it to connect to your computer. Alright, so she's gonna go for a little flight. Now I'm currently using it with a 2S LAPO because I don't have any 3S that will fit this drone. The space for the battery is kind of small. I say overall on 2S, it's flying okay, but I have to say it kind of feel under power. So I'm gonna have to get some 3S batteries and see how good you're gonna fly it with 3S batteries. That's it. First impression with a 2S, even though it kind of feel under power, it does fly pretty good. I would say if you're planning on flying inside your house, 2S be the perfect size for your battery. If you're planning on taking it out, then you may actually go with 3S. It should be able to give us a little more power. But as far as tune goes, feel pretty good. There's a car coming. Yeah, tune-wise doesn't feel too bad. There's a little bit of wind. Let's make sure to watch left and right before we cross the street. But it is overall, I say, good quad. I may post a video later on when I'm flying around 3S. But I'm pleased by how it's flying. The cellular antenna actually is not doing too bad. But of course, I'm in an open field. Let's see if we can do a little spin. Oh yeah, that 2S is definitively struggling. But we got everything set up right, so I'm gonna whip another battery and keep flying. But thank you for watching this video, guys, and I hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.